The Zodiac killer is known to have killed 5 people, although the real number of victims could be in the dozens. No one was ever arrested, but Gary Francis Poste has long been suspected of being the serial killer who vexed law enforcement with his cryptic letters and signs. This case has been profiled in movies and miniseries and captured the attention of those fascinated by crime, including a group of volunteers called the Case Breakers. Case Breakers are an eclectic group of investigators and journalists and military personnel who seek to solve crimes. Did the FBI have the chance to catch the Zodiac killer before he died? Joining us now is Erik Kleinsmith, who is with the Case Breakers. Thank you for joining us. For those perhaps not familiar with the Zodiac killer, tell us what he did and during what time period.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Trey. Zodiac killer was alleged to have killed 5 people through 4 different attacks from 1968 to 1969, and he's really been seen as kind of the holy grail of cold cases, probably through his name and his taunting of police and investigators over the next several years. But it has consumed amateurs and professional sleuths alike for over now we're up to over 50 years.
All right, and what new evidence, well, don't let me presume new evidence, has new evidence been found? And look, I wasn't around back then, but my guess is murder is a violation of state law. The FBI would only get involved if asked, but did law enforcement have a chance to do something and did not do so, whether it be state or federal law enforcement?
Yes and no, and that's really been the frustration of the team that we have put together, and we've been working this for several years. The case was brought to us from a previous case we've been working on the D.B. Cooper case, but what you have is you have several different local law enforcement entities that are not really communicating with us, and as well as not communicating to each other. So you have San Francisco, you have the potential for Riverside Police, you have Vallejo County, Napa Valley, and then we've alleged that there's other victims, to include Sherry Jo Bates and Donna Lass, who we think was murdered up in the Lake Tahoe area.
Do you think, using probable cause as the standard, do you think that there was enough evidence to arrest Poste, and then I'll get you to say whether or not you think he would have been convicted beyond a reasonable doubt?
There was substantial evidence, but again, it took us years to put together, 50 years after the fact. And our guy, Gary Francis Poste, he passed away in 2018. Now he was arrested in 2016 for abuse of his spouse, where they should have taken his DNA and put that into CODIS. That never happened, so there was a mistake on procedure from that area. Could he have been convicted? It would have taken a lot more, and we're down to the point where it probably would have taken DNA, and for cases that this old, we're really now talking more about a historical case than an actual live case that can be brought to trial.
Any explanation for why his DNA would not have been entered into CODIS?
I think it was just, I really can't answer that. I think it was just a mistake on the local part, and from that point on, it's just been difficult. Now we've been able to recover his DNA through neighbors that have volunteered and family members who have volunteered some materials that we've been able to pull, and then we verified that with a blood relative. And we also have former military intelligence, counterintelligence expert like myself, who has had contact with members within the Bureau that said that since 2016, Gary Francis Poste was their suspect.
You know, Erik, it's amazing what y'all are able to do. I mean, law enforcement has access to tools that I assume as private citizens you do not have access to. So the fact that you're willing to do this and try to bring some I don't want to say closure, but bring some peace to the victims and their family members, kudos to you. Erik Kleinsmith, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.